With Kaido and Luffy battle now resumed, Kaido states, "I was certain that you were dead." Luffy responds, "Me too." Watching Luffy bounce off the ground repeatedly, Kaido says, "Given that you're transferring your rubber power to other things, I suppose I can interpret this as the awakening of your paramethea powers. But something doesn't add up. Body transformations like that are the trademark of zone powers." Kaido lunges at Luffy and attempts to devour him, but Luffy bounces around his insides before using Gum Gum, no balloon, to expand not only his body, but Kaido's as well. Yamato and Momonosuke, who are watching the battle from a distance, are confused by what they are seeing. Momo asks Yamato, "What is that? What's happening?" Yamato responds, "I don't understand, Kaido is getting fatter. Was that always one of his forms?" While Kaido becomes frustrated and says, "What's wrong with me? My body isn't made of rubber." Luffy sees two lights from inside him, which turn out to be his eyes, and grabs through them to latch onto his nose to free himself from Kaido's body, using Gum Gum, no escape rocket. Luffy then begins to deflate, which sends him flying into the clouds, and re-emerges the size of a giant. Everyone got shocked seeing Luffy this big. Kaido once again bites Luffy, but the latter, taking advantage of his size and Kaido's serpentine form, Luffy uses Kaido's body as a jump rope. As they descend back towards the rooftop, Kaido fires another blast breath at Luffy, which hits him directly and causes him to fall again. However, Luffy becomes frustrated and begins spinning his legs so fast that he is able to run across the air to return to the rooftop. As he prepares another attack, Kaido strikes him with Conqueror of Three Worlds Ragnarok, sending Luffy's head crashing through the ground and to the lower floors, much to everyone's shock. Luffy pulls himself back up to the roof. Kaido comments, "It's like something from a comic strip." Well, that was a very entertaining show. But you've reached your limit, haven't you? You cannot defeat me. Luffy becomes extremely fatigued and visibly ages after using Gear 5. Kaido gets shocked to see Luffy like that and asks him, "Who are you?" and sits beside him. While both sitting there, Luffy says, "Yeah, I was dying before this." "Wow, it takes a lot of energy." Kaido responds, "You have my assurances. After you die, someone will tell the tale of your great battle." But Luffy refuses. "I don't need any of that. Once we're dead, the only thing that's left is bones." Yamato says, "It really is Luffy. It just didn't look like him, because his hair and clothes turned white." Momo adds, "But his voice is nearly dying out." As Luffy prepares to reactivate Gear 5, Luffy reminds himself of several people he has made promises to. Kaido tells to Luffy, "Careful or you'll die." Luffy responds, "You actually think I'm afraid of that?" and tells his heart to start beating louder, allowing him to reactivate Gear 5. He is suddenly struck again by Kaido's attack. But this time, his head wraps around the weapon and its spikes, causing it to take on a crescent shape. He begins running away in pain, but another blow from Kaido squashes him to the ground. Luffy uses the ground as a springboard to launch himself back up and towards a rock formation, which he once again launches himself off of to return to his normal size. Kaido, still trying to make sense of Luffy's new fighting style, and thinks, "What does all of this mean?" He turns all white. He uses the colors of armament and the Supreme King, and can transfer his powers to other things. I've never seen such freewheeling combat before. Luffy then strikes Kaido with a punch that seemingly goes through his head before knocking him to the ground while saying, "Isn't this fun, Kaido?" Luffy wonders what to call his latest attack. While Kaido is laying on the ground, he asks Luffy, "Who are you?" Scene shifts to Zunisha. He says, "How long it's been since I heard this rhythm, Joy Boy. It's as though you're right there, my heart is dancing. I cannot help but feel that is at work. I cannot help but put my hopes in him." Luffy responds to Kaido, "Who am I? I'm Monkey D. Luffy, the man who will surpass you and become king of the pirates." Kaido says with a smile, "I'm relieved to hear you've still got sass, Straw Hat. Awakening is what happens when your mind and body catch up to you powers. And those are certainly ridiculous powers. I've lost quite a lot, much of what I've built over the years. My followers, my castle, same for you, right?" Luffy angrily says, "But there's still something I gotta take back from you." Kaido suddenly attacks with his Kandali Dragon Swarm attacks. Luffy counters his attack and says, "Take this." Suddenly, Luffy starts coughing. Kaido says, "The battle is burning everything below, from the performance floor to the castle. There are thousands of your men trapped down there too. They will all burn to death." Luffy confidently responds, "Nah, I left everyone else in charge down there. All I have to do is beat you." Kaido then attacks Luffy with his demolition gust, but Luffy dodges it by stretching his legs. Meanwhile, Yamato tells Momo, "Hurry, Momonosuke. It can't hold any longer. The flame clouds won't last. You have to make flame clouds to keep Onigashima aloft. It's always been the only solution. Onigashima is going to fall." As Yamato says that, Luffy grabs a bolt of lightning, preparing to bring it down on Kaido as he watches, encouraging Luffy to attack him. Kaido remarks, "So you grab the lightning? Preposterous." Luffy then attacks Kaido with his Gum Gum no lightning. However, Kaido sidesteps it and smacks Luffy with his weapon, sending him flying. Kaido comments, "Play all the games you want." But Luffy grabs Lightning Bolt again. However, this time he swings around and goes at Kaido with an inflated leg. Before Luffy can use another move though, Kaido dodges and strikes him on the head. Kaido declares, "Abilities alone cannot conquer the world. The world is convenient that way." Roger didn't have any fruit powers. Luffy gets propelled down to the ground, which bounces him back up. And as he tries to defend himself, Kaido yells, "Because only Haki can transcend all." He then hits Luffy with Destroyer of Death, Thunder Bagua. Luffy is injured after Kaido's last attack, but he still grabs Kaido and starts dragging up with him to the sky. Kaido tries to shake him loose while transforming into his dragon form. Kaido says, "Let go of me. You're only telling me where to find you." Kaido starts attacking again, and says, "You still have a weakness to cutting attacks, I presume." While that was going on, the people of the Flower Capital watched their sky lanterns float up into the air with the hope that their wishes will reach the heavens. As they know, they will return to being slaves again. Kaido attacks at Luffy with Blast Breath, while saying, "Let go of me! Come down here, Straw Hat!" Luffy tells Momo, "I'm gonna put an end to all of this. But Onigashima's in the way, so move it." As he inflates his hand to a humongous size coated in Haki to finish Kaido with. Yamato comments, "He's going to punch right through the island." Luffy says, "Do it, Momo. I believe in you." Luffy asks him again, "Move Onigashima out the way." Momo says, "Wait, I can't." But the memory of his family compels him to try anyway, and he starts pushing Onigashima. Kaido tells Luffy that he will take his attack head-on as he starts covering himself in fire. While doing so, he asks Luffy, "Did you know that 20 years ago the hero of this country was burned to death? Ever since, this has been a lawless place. And now, you are the heroes they've been waiting 20 years for." The fire causes Luffy to let go, which Kaido says is the right call. Kaido says, "I'm nor going anywhere, and that giant fist of yours will not come down on me. It will melt into nothing fist." Luffy retorts, "I'm not melting. The old man taught me how to do that without touching. I'll smash you all the way down to the bottom of hell." Kaido then performs a move called Rising Dragon, Blazing Bagua, while Luffy uses Gum Gum, no Bajrangan. Their clash brust out immense amount of Supreme King Haki, making everything around them shake. Kaido commends Luffy, "Well done. You fought hard to reach this point, but you cannot change the world." Kaido asks Luffy, "And what kind of world can you create, Straw Hat?" Luffy replies, "I'll make a world where my friends can eat as much food as they want." As his fist tears through Kaido's fire dragon and punches him in the face, sending him straight and deep into the ground. Kaido remembers when he told King, "King, I think I know who Joy Boy is." King asked, "Who is he?" Kaido replied, "He's the man who shows up to beat me in the future." King said, "In that case, I suppose we'll never see him." Kaido changes back to his human form as he continues to sink in the ground, eventually falling into a huge magma chamber underneath Wano, which is also what happened to Big Mom. As a result, several fissures start forming underneath the seas of Wano. Scene shifts, Skull Dome, Onigashima. Yamato catches Luffy as he changes back to normal and passes out. Yamato commends both Luffy and Momo. Just then, a huge eruption occurs under the sea, and Luffy is officially declared the victor of the decisive battle. Hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, then make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching till the end.